Okay, hi everyone. Right, I'm just doing this video quite quick. This was a duckling that was struggling to hatch, so look at my previous video for that. And I thought it was the same, but as I was peeling the egg off, I realised just how bad this one was. So this is a case of complete mummification. And what has happened, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, its umbilical cord there, that's its belly button, has burst, and the egg sac has burst around the back of its head, and then it has dried. So even though 90% of the shell off, the duckling is still stuck in this egg position because all this has gone dry and rock hard. So if you ever come across one of this, I'm gonna have to put the camera down and then just do it. I can't do this and film, but I need to get it out quite quick, so I just thought I'd quickly film. So if anyone else is in this position and doesn't know what's happened, that is what's happened. Okay, the egg yolk, the yolk sac has popped on it. So like I said in the other video, just warm water and dissolve that. Okay, just slowly keep doing it until the bird can free itself. I'm going to put the camera down now so I can use both hands and do this, and come back when I'm done. Okay, so that's out. As you can see, this is not a well bird at all because of the way it's been stuck in there. So again, just using warm water, you need to get rid of all this dried gunk. It's going to take some time, but you must keep the bird, there we go, there we go. You must keep the bird warm. So what I'm going to be doing is doing little bits like this so it can help free itself, and then putting it back in the incubator. You see all this on its back, all this is sort of stuck to the feathers and everything, but it's getting cold now. I'm going to put it back now to warm up whilst I prepare a bit more of a station for it, because I was not prepared for this to have happened. So I'm going to put him back, sort it out and come back. Right, okay, we're back. So I've got a micro, what do they call these? Microfiber cloth here, so it's nice and soft. I'm going to be using a J cloth, dishcloth here to wash the duckling. I wouldn't normally use anything like that. I'd normally use cotton wool, kitchen paper, but I've never seen a case this extreme before. So what has happened is the duckling has hatched through its yolk sac inside. Rather than absorbing it, it's hatched through it, which has burst it. The air from the incubator has got in and then dried the duckling, so it is completely coated now and can barely move. I've removed most of the shell. You've got a bit stuck on the back, but what's most important, okay, is make sure the airways are clear and getting that face washed off. So sorry if you can't see too well, but obviously the duckling itself is more important than the film. I just thought I would do this in case anyone else finds himself in this situation, because it can be quite alarming, especially to first time hatchers. This has happened to me before. This is the first time I've had one survive it. It normally, when they do this, it normally clogs the airway and goes crystallized, rock hard, and they die in the shell, in the egg. So this is the first one I've had actually survive, although it's not doing great. However, its movement aren't restricted because it's weak or ill. Its movements are restricted because it's basically supposed to be a little fluffy duckling, but it's covered in tar, really, that has solidified. So you've got the complication of washing it, but also needs to loosen that, also keeping the bird warm. But obviously every time you put it back in the incubator to keep it warm, it dries again. So it's a question of doing this fast but without hurting the bird. Sorry if you can't see too well, so I'm literally just where's the camera? I'm literally just rubbing the bird, and you can see all this yolk, this dried yolk coming off the feathering. So the wing here is completely stuck to the head and the body. So we're just trying to free that. So that at least, there we go. So that's the wing free. Okay, it's important to support the head and everything. This is literally a newborn animal. Okay, so we've now got both eyes open, so we can see. Oh, little fella. They're normally a lot louder than this, which is a sign that it is exhausted. But I don't know how much of this it's swallowed either, so that's not great. But obviously you haven't got the problem with it drying and going hard if it does swallow it. It's more going hard in the beak here. Make sure you can you open your beak, little fella? I'm not convinced it can open its beak. I think its mouth is literally glued shut. Okay. Oh mate, right. The nostrils are clear. So what I'm doing is I'm just rubbing the warm water under the beak here. You can, I've got to do this quick, I've got to help me out. But you can see that the beak, the upper beak goes over the top of the lower bill. So it's getting the water up into there to dissolve that, so that the poor little mite can actually open its mouth. Otherwise it's not going to be able to eat or drink. Yes. Alright, I'm coming. It's all up and under there. Okay. Okay. I hear you. Okay. Just keep going. Just keep rubbing. Make sure the warm water, the water cools so fast. You must use boiled water that's then been allowed to cool. You don't want to be introducing any kind of infection at this stage. Really, I probably should be wearing gloves, but I struggle to feel what I'm doing if I'm wearing gloves. Okay. You don't want to submerge the bird in water. They cannot swim or do anything at this age, and especially not in this condition. And you'll end up drowning the bird. Okay. I got you. It's so delicate because they're tiny little, and they've been cramped in a shell for so long. Normally at this stage of birth they're just fast asleep, resting, recovering, not having all this nonsense done to them. So the distress the bird is feeling, however, it's the lesser of two evils. Come on, can you open your beak now? You must obviously never try and force anything. The damage and injury you could inflict at this stage would be devastating to the animal. Okay, all right. Make sure you've got the wings tucked in your hand nice in. Make sure the feet are not bending anything back. The bones at this point are quite soft. Right, come on. The bill is also soft, it hasn't hardened yet. Come on, mate. You're getting there, aren't they? Okay. Alright. It's getting there. I can't see anymore. It was I'll show you. It was all underneath on that line was coated, and in this top bit that was absolutely full up of this hardened gunk. That's all gone now. It's still struggling So it's just a case of keeping at it, pushing the water through, obviously not too much to choke the animal, but just so it's going in under here and dissolving this hardened yolk. You've got to help me a little bit, mate, fella. I don't want to use any. I don't want to use any metal tools or anything like that. I could really end up hurting. Okay. Right, let's get this off your back. You want to stand up? Yeah? You want to stand up? Okay. Right. Try not to distress it too much. So let's just stroke this off the back. Get all this membrane stuck on here. So again, we're just putting the water on. We're not soaking the bird. And we can pull off this hardened. Always watch the bird, not the camera. This hardened membrane of the shell. It comes off very easily once it's wet. It's like it just goes to the texture of like a balloon. It just comes off. Yeah, I mean, obviously don't pull the feathers. It'd be like having your hair pulled out, but in the scheme of things, when a bird is this bad, a few little snags and pulls are not going to do it much harm. Being completely encased and immobile will do it some harm. Sorry if a hand and everything is desperately getting a bit fidgety. I don't want to drop it. Obviously I need to get this done. Okay, this is the worst bit here on this wing. That is absolutely rock solid there. It's gone like when your kid leaves a packet of sweets in the sun on the back seat of your car. It's a bit like that. It's mashed in and sticky and hard. You've done yourself a good one, haven't you, mate? One thing with ducks, I mean, I'm doing all this for it, and then in a couple of weeks, he'll be out in the paddock with his brothers and sisters, screaming and running from me, as all ducks do. Incredibly difficult to tame, even when you do all this for them. It's difficult to see what's stuck to what or where. So much of it. Trying to see what bit of I keep calling it hair because it looks like hair. It is feathers. Downy fluff. Difficult to see what bit is supposed to go in what direction. Okay. Keep rubbing away at it. Should not hold you quite firmly, so well, firstly I don't drop you, but also I don't want them getting cold. But I don't want to keep putting it back in the incubator because we're back to square one each time. It tries to undo any work you've done. Oh, I know. What was that, your little beaky moving, no? Oh, the water's gone cold. I thought that was a bit of gunk, but I think actually, is that black? No, that is, I thought it was a black feather. It's not, it is a bit of gunk. Okay. Right. We're getting there. I'm doing this a lot firmer than I normally do. I'm normally much more delicate with birds of this age, or of no age, a couple of hours old. But like I keep saying, I've never seen one quite this bad. So we are getting there. I end up bald. Okay. Right, this wing is fairly free moving. It's a bit gummed together here. I don't want to put it back until I know that that beak is clear. These feathers can be sorted a bit later, but the problem with all the, God goodness, it's so gummed together, the bird's not going to be able to keep itself warm because it uses this fluff to sort of trap the warm air into its body. When it's like this, it's not going to be able to do that. People say you shouldn't interfere, you shouldn't help birds hatch, let nature take its course. Yeah. The people that say that probably have a lot of dead animals on their hands. Okay. Fortunately, nature can be very cruel. You need a bit of a helping hand, didn't you, mate? This is a lot easier when you have small fingers. I have massive fingers. There's a tiny little bird wing. Where's that caught? Okay, alright, mate, alright. I think I've got that. A little bit more under there. You'll be able to move your arm, eh? You're able to wave. How are we doing? I know. Okay, you're cheeping away. Okay, so we're getting there. I appreciate this isn't the most interesting of videos, just watching me wash a bird, but it's to demonstrate just how these things can go very, very wrong quite quickly, and how on the ball you need to be in observing your eggs as they hatch. Did you just peck me? Did you just peck me? I'm trying to save your life, mate. Yeah. So, how on the ball you have to be with your eggs, and just make sure your birds are hatching correctly. Don't just leave them to nature, because nature is an ass, and birds get stuck. Same as any sort of animal being birthed, things go very wrong, like this. This bird doesn't need to die. If you leave it to nature, it will. And it's not really a pleasant death either. Death before life has even begun, stuck in an egg, unable to move or breathe. No, I'm stepping in, thank you. Right. Okay, mate. It's just this, it's all this feather in here has got stuck over the arm, so it's sort of stuck with its wing all gummed up. It's like having a load of chewing gum in your arm there and getting it stuck to the side of your head. Alright. We're going to have to get you back in that incubator though, aren't we? How's that doing? There we go. Right, the wing is free. See that? Now move the wing. Let's get these bits off. That last little bit of feather there. There we go. There you go. Yeah? There you go. Alright, mate. So all this on its back, this please don't jump. All this is hard and sort of congealed, and on the side of its head here, all this is it's like it's wearing a toffee crash hat, but that's not harming the bird's life. That can be dealt with a bit later once it's warmed up again. It was just this beak that I was very concerned about. It can breathe because it can cheep, and obviously we couldn't breathe if we did by now. I'm just I mean, they don't need to eat or drink for 48 hours, so I do have time, but I just don't want it setting rock solid in that incubator in the warm air. Especially if it's sort of up in these bits. So I'm not going to be able to get to it. I need to see you open your mouth, matey. Show me that little ducky tongue. Hmm? Come on. God, state my hair, honestly. I wasn't planning on doing a video today, as you can see. But opportunities arise, and if we can help other people in the same predicament, all the better. The best thing is never ever panic when you're doing anything like this. If something's going wrong, you just need to chill out and help the bird methodically, but no rushing and panicking. That's when animals get hurt, people get upset, and you just need a bit of peace and quiet and time. As long as the bird can breathe, you have time. If its nostrils are gummed up, you don't have any time, and you need to get in there, and then hopefully you don't injure the bird. But if you do, that can also be dealt with later. The most important thing is it can breathe, which this one could. It's just that beak. If I can see you open the beak, you can go back in the incubator and warm up. I'm gonna have to, like a bit of wood, like a toothpick or something. I don't have one. Okay. What I'm going to do is put him back in the incubator and then find something like that, so I can just make sure the beak can open, and we'll be back. Okay, I've fashioned a little bit there. So I'm going to just try and get into the beak and sort of not be forceful, but just make sure if there is that last bit of gum in holding it shut, that we can check. I mean, it probably can open its beak, and it's thinking, will you put me down, you bizarre ape? But I just want to make sure. So there is a small slot at the front of the beak. Oh mate, I'll hurt ya. That's still too big. Tiny little beak, haven't ya? Get a bit off of that. This is very soft wood. There we go. Okay. So there was a last little bit there holding the beak shut. There's your little doggy tongue. If you can. So we now have make sure that's opening both of them. There we go. Okay. The beak is opening there, so I'm happy. So I'm gonna put them back, dry it completely. We'll come back in a few hours and then we'll continue washing. But yeah, from a little bird that I really didn't think was gonna make it, it's doing quite alright. If not a little bit like a bedraggled puppet. Bless him. Right, I'll put him in and we'll come back in a bit. Okay, so here we have the little fella. Cheeping away. So you can see now it's dried out. You can see, oh, unsteady there. You can see like all these dark patches on the head. That's the dried yolk sac and that. So we've got a bit of a bald patch on the wing. That's where I was desperately trying to rub it in there, clean it off. But apart from that, pretty much unscathed from the whole ordeal. So I'm not going to put it through any more distress today by cleaning it. It'll be absolutely fine. The eye looks a little bit swollen there. So look at it. But then quite often they do come out of their shells a little bit bug-eyed, so it's hard to tell. But that doesn't look great. But it could just be where the feathering up the top here sort of pulling the eyelid up where it's got stuck to the face there. But I'm going to keep it warm in the incubator for the rest of the day and tomorrow, and then we'll try washing off again. But generally speaking, it should be fine now. So yeah, you can see it there. It should be all fluffy now, but it's all. But yeah, just use warm water and slowly clean the rest. Maybe do like the head and put it back, and then the back, and then like the front. But ducklings are quite resilient creatures, really. Chicks can do this as well, where they burst the yolk. Whoops, that's it. When they burst the yolk sac, they have a less chance of survival. Chickens, because they're not quite as strong as the ducklings. So, but yeah, if you ever see an egg hatching and it's got like a really hard, almost like tree sap coming out of it, then that's what's happened. The bird has burst its yolk sac as it's hatching, and it is drying and encrusting around the bird. So the only way that bird is going to survive is if you intervene. So I hope this has been helpful. So that hatching birds is not always easy and cute and fun. It is quite involved sometimes, but with the right care, they'll be fine. So I'll end the video here. I'll put the link up in the description below for the previous video I did, where there was a small amount of this and washing it off, and then you see what the bird looks like when it's clean. But I think this one's had enough now of being on camera. I'm going to let it rest, and I'll keep an eye on that eye there. But yeah, I think after all the drama and stress that you've put us through, this one will be staying with us and joining our own personal flock. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful. We've been Court Farm Chickens, and we'll see you on the next one.